crazy, Joshua, I told him. I couldn't believe that he was listening to this strange angel sent by God, who told him to make a fool out of himself. I mean, what did this God ever do to deserve the way that Joshua obeys him? The kind of respect that Joshua gives him. At least that's what I thought at the time. Well, after such a dramatic hook, I bet you're wondering who I am. I'm Joshua's wife. Well, one of them anyways, but that's besides the point. This story is not about me. This story is about my husband, and the way he so selflessly flung himself at the directions that God gave him. It all started when Moses died. That was a really hard time for Joshua. It was a really hard time for all of us. But that was when Joshua really stepped up. He was on a mission, sent by God himself, to free us all from this endless wandering, and to bring us to the land that, as the prophets would say, was flowing with milk and honey. I never really believed it, to be honest with you. How could something so sticky be so enjoyable? But that wasn't the part that made me unconcerned. I never believed that a God who would send his people, his own chosen people, into this horrible dry desert with nothing but some stale, nasty bread, if you can even call it that. I just never believed that that kind of a God would ever let us have this elusive land with so many blessings. Anyways, it was late one night when my husband was just taking a walk towards the wall of Jericho when a strange soldier stopped him. My husband asked who he was, and he said that he was a soldier sent by God. Can you believe it? I know that I did when Joshua first told me. But he went on to say some of the craziest things that I have ever heard in my life. And believe me, I have heard some pretty crazy things. I have 6 children. But he went on to tell him that he was supposed to gather all of the armed men of Israel and march around the walls of Jericho once a day for 6 days in a row, and then on the 7th day, they weren't supposed to march around once, not twice, but 7 stinking times. And then at the end of marching around 7 stinking times, they were supposed to blow their trumpets and scream until the walls came crumbling down. I can't even begin to tell you how stupid this man sounded when he told me this. I mean, he was practically asking all these guys for the insanity workout with him. Not that they couldn't use it, but still. But you know, even though what this guy was telling Joshua to do sounded absolutely crazy, Joshua didn't care. He accepted it as the Lord's own words. He was relentless. He pressed on and pressed on, even though it seemed like those marches would never end. It was the 7th day. I remember it like it was yesterday. I waved goodbye to Joshua as he walked off towards the wall of Jericho. I could see him most so clearly as I switched to sitting next to my kitchen window. I could see them only as ants from my view, but I did see them. I saw as they went around once, twice, finally 7 times. I could hear their war cries and screams as if they were right next to me. But then, I heard something even louder than them. It was a thundering noise, as if the very core of the wall were shaking. Then I began to see it, a crack. I saw that spread its way through the wall to make it look like a poorly stitched piece of cloth. Then it began to fall. All the way from the top to the bottom, it fell apart. Not a brick was left standing. I couldn't believe my eyes. The thing that I had mocked up until this point was coming to reality right in front of me. The thing that all of us had dreamed of happening, imagined of happening, but never quite grasped or even understood that it could. And it was all because of the fact that my husband was relentless after the instructions and the grace of the One.
Right. Good.